Hi Joe, you already mentioned Fraser Forster, but I'm just wondering if you spoke to any other former Celtic players. I know you're close to Shay Given and Stilian Petrov as well.
Yeah, I spoke to Stilian. I've not managed to catch up with Shay about it, but I'm sure I will in the coming days. But as I've said, I've just said in the press previous to speaking to you guys, just as I'm sure Celtic did their research on me as a person and as a goalkeeper, I did obviously my research as best I could, and the feedback was unbelievable. There's nothing but positivity about this place, nothing but great words and great stories of special relationships with the fans, and enjoying those big moments. So, Fraser was the same, Stilian was the same. I'm sure I'm going to speak to other guys, as my time gets on here. And, I'd love in future someone to be calling me about a potential move to Celtic, and me being able to give them all some really positive stories about what went on when I was here. I think undoubtedly the vibe and the atmosphere of this place is to work hard, is to push, is to make this club everything that it wants to be, and that's the only way you do that is with hard work and dedication. And obviously there's an awful lot of love. It seems like the kind of place you can be really proud to wear the badge, and it's something that I'm really excited to be a part of. Look, Fraser's got nothing but love for this place. He has done. I'm close with him on and off the field. Supported him whilst he was here, and I saw what it did for him and what it did for his career and what it did for him as a person. He obviously played very well here. That's great. That's all well and good. But he also really enjoyed his life. He really enjoyed his relationship with you guys, and you guys are proud of him. He's super proud of you, and it's something that if I can get even a smidgen of what he did, then it'd be a great couple of years for me. Look, I don't think he's in a position when you get to this level, when you've got such good, strong squads. We've got some good keepers here that are already here before me, where you can be giving out assurances. I think he's obviously gave me the impression that he likes me as a goalkeeper. He's interested to see what I bring off the field as well. So, I'm sure if I can come and bring my level, both on and off the field, I'm going to give myself the best opportunity to play. And in terms of being ready, I feel it. I felt good in all training sessions so far. I feel physically good, but I think the proof will be in the pudding of, hopefully when I do get those first minutes and we'll see. Yeah, look, Andrew's got his way. When I first was introduced to the concept of a goalkeeper that plays out, I was, a few years ago, I just presumed that meant that you have to be, unbelievable with the ball at your feet. But the more I've got comfortable with it, the more I've realised that it's a system, it's a way of playing, it's something that the whole team needs to buy into. It's not necessarily meaning that the goalkeeper at the back has to make things happen or pick passes that are dangerous. If everyone buys into the process, everyone shows for the ball. Ultimately, it's 10, 15-yard passes that we grew up learning. It's when you learn to play football, that's what you learn to do. So it's all about decisions. It's all about movement. And, I feel that if we work hard as a team, if we work hard as a unit to make it as easy as we can for each other, then certainly I can play a part in that. I don't feel a responsibility. It's just something that I naturally see and naturally want from guys. Whatever I've done in this game, I've got an awful lot of experience. I've seen a lot. I've been around a lot. I've been around world-class talent, and I think I've got a kind of common message to people when it comes to being at the start of the ladder. It's hard work and dedication. It's remaining humble, trying to see things, put things in perspective, and that's a message that I try to pass on. The two guys that you've just referenced there, I've really enjoyed seeing and starting to work out what they can and can't do in the game. But it's a pretty clear message, and it kind of runs throughout, but it's easier to install in young players who, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old and you haven't potentially you have the world at your feet. Kind of simplifying it for them, making it really simple. It's all down to the hard work and dedication, and you're going to get out what you put in, no matter what your talent is. I think the hard work, dedication, and remaining humble is something really key. Pretty much the same with what I've just talked about for young players, Declan. You know, I think I'm going to bring a hard-working attitude. I'm going to hopefully bring some positivity. I'm going to bring a lot of talent. I believe in what I can do, and I want to produce that on the field. And I want to also incorporate that as a team mentality. And I want to learn. I want to learn off the other guys. I want to learn off the guys who've had a lot of success here. You know, you need to be open-minded when it comes to football and starting something new. So, you know, I want to bring an open-minded mindset and try and bring something to the table. Yeah, look, we're a new team, new manager, new ideas. Is by understanding, is by growing together and finding a way that works for us. So, obviously, I want to bring my little bit to the table, but I think we're only gonna get in charge of this as a group. I love football, and you know, I've always spoken to my family about it. I love it just as much as when I was lifting Premier League titles and playing in World Cups, as you said. So whilst that passion's still inside me and I'm getting these unbelievable opportunities, there isn't much else that I need to get me out of bed and getting the gloves on. There's so much more to it. There's a great unit that, you know, when I've had my most success on the field, we've been really strong as a unit. We've had a lot of respect between the goalies, you know, the young guys that come up and help sometimes, the goalkeeper coach, the analysis team. There's definitely a kind of unit behind it, and I've always prided myself on trying to have the attitude of treating how I want to be treated. You know, for years I had it where I was literally the guy who was playing and was being supported. So I really wanted to put it into action these last couple of years. It was a good test for me to put my money where my mouth was, and when required, to support the goalkeeper playing at the same time. I want to be exactly the same, offer the same insights, same honesty, same energy in training. And for me, that's when you get your best results, when everyone's pushing in the same direction. I don't think that even got close. It was a great occasion. Stan and Millie doing great things for their foundations and raising some really important money. And, you know, obviously they're good friends of mine. And, you know, as I referenced before with football, I played on the park for them. The fact that I managed to do it at Celtic was a huge occasion for me and a huge moment. But if you're talking about playing a competitive game with the badge on my chest, then it would be really special.
Right, so that was Joe Hart speaking to assembled Celtic fan media earlier today. Some fan media may just send out the press conference, but we like to go the extra mile on 67 Hail Hail, so we thought we'd get some insight into Joe Hart, how he did recently at his most recent club, Tottenham Hotspur. We're joined by Sim from We Are Tottenham TV. The biggest Spurs kind of thing going, Sim?
I would like to think so. I think in terms of Spurs fan channel, yeah, we're the biggest. So yeah, that's that.
You're doing all right for subs. We thought we were doing well, but you guys are flying.
Thank you.
Tell us about the situation with regards to Joe Hart, why he felt he had to leave Spurs this summer.
Well, we just signed a new, basically, sub-goalkeeper, Golini, from Atalanta, and he's younger. He's 26 years of age, and he's basically been brought in with a view of potentially even replacing Lloris long-term. But Lloris looks like he's staying this summer, so we pretty much have two keepers. And unless Joe Hart wants to play third fiddle, basically, with Alfie Whiteman and one of our youth keepers, and there's no really space for him, even in the Europa Conference League, which he would get minutes. It's unlikely he's going to be playing in that tournament. So I think he needed to leave. there's no really space for him anymore. The only reason really he was here last season really is because he was homegrown. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty much the reason. We needed to fill in that quota and we needed an extra sub keeper. So that's pretty much the reason we brought him in. We don't have that problem anymore. And that the keeper position needed refreshing. So we have a new sub keeper and there's no real space for Joe Hart.
He featured 10 times for you last season. I don't think any of them were in the league. I think they were split across the League Cup, possibly the FA Cup, and the Europa League as well. I think he kept 5 clean sheets. I don't know why I'm saying I think. I've done all this research. He kept 5 clean sheets in 10 games, although some of them were against, that Marine side you played in the FA Cup and some
modest opposition, we should call it.
Yeah. Well, I realise from a Celtic point of view, I can't really comment on opposition teams much at the moment. What was he like last season in general in those 10 games?
He wasn't awful, but one thing that was interesting was he came to the club. Obviously, he has that reputation of being the keeper for Man City and whatnot. We know he's been through tough times over the past few years. He came with a reputation which he was very weak down to his left-hand side, and he was quite weak from long-range shots. And if you pretty much look at all the goals he conceded, I'm not sure the exact figure. It must have been about 5 or 6 goals he conceded in total. They were all pretty much that. They were all pretty much low down to his left and long-range efforts. And that was probably the most frustrating thing. He wasn't... I would say he was okay for the majority of the time, although what I would say is in the games he did play, he didn't have too much to do the majority of the time because we were playing in Europa League teams, which we would usually dominate possession. We wouldn't concede too many chances. There was one game, I believe it was against Lask away, and we drew 3-3. I believe it was that game, and he was really bad that game. He made 2 really bad errors leading to goals. We ended up drawing 3-3 when we were 3-1 up, and he pretty much cost us the win in that time. But other than that, I think what he's definitely very good at is because we usually played quite a young team in the Europa League. He's got really good leadership. He's very, very vocal. Obviously, he's got a lot of winning experience, and we were hoping he was going to bring that to Spurs last season, and for the first half of the season when Spurs were flying high and we were kind of in a title challenge, a lot of people behind the scenes were giving him a lot of credit with a lot of encouragement and a lot of things he was saying in the dressing room and stuff like that. However, unfortunately, the influence couldn't carry on until the end of this throughout the season, and I think he probably made his last appearance in a Spurs shirt. I think probably in the round of 16 in the Europa League. I don't think he played beyond that. So. I think by and large he was okay, nothing to shout about. I don't think he was like spectacular in any sense of the word. And I think the old problems that were plagued him in his previous spells at Burnley and West Ham and Torino, I think it was still kind of plaguing him when we saw Spurs, unfortunately.
Yeah. Jose Mourinho, your former manager, described him as the best English goalkeeper back in April. What did you make of those comments at the time?
Yeah, I think he was just trying to offer some encouragement to Joe Hart. I don't think that's true anymore. I do think that in fairness to Joe, I think him at his best. I still, if you had Joe Hart at his best, he would be England's number 1 right now. I still believe that. But unfortunately, I don't think he's at his best anymore. I think his confidence is not as high as it used to be. I think you can see that in his body language when he does interviews and stuff. I don't think he's that super confident keeper and person that he was maybe a few years ago. And I think maybe if he goes to Celtic and he's number 1 for a year or 2, maybe he can start to rebuild that. I think it's a lot of it is mental with Joe Hart. I don't think he's lost his ability. I just think mentally, maybe confidence-wise, he's not where he used to be. And maybe that's what Mourinho was trying to do when he was saying those kind words about him. But I did find it quite funny because I just don't think... I think it was a bit of encouragement. I don't think it's true anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a goalkeeper in the past, Fraser Forster, who was in a similar kind of position, came to us, I think, season before last and was outstanding. So hopefully something similar can happen with Joe Hart. Obviously, the advantage is he'd be a permanent Celtic player and not a loanee. What's the general kind of consensus among players maybe and fans at Spurs? Because I looked at Joe Hart's Instagram that he posted after leaving the club, and there was a number, probably a dozen current Spurs players, lining up to reply to him and thank him for his time at the club. Is he quite a liked guy at Spurs in general?
Yeah, he was very popular. He was really popular because he came in as one of those players with a bit of winning experience, which I think with him and Mourinho and Bale, they were supposed to all come in with a sense of they've got winning mentality and they were supposed to drive Spurs on. And I think he, as I said before, he was quite vocal and he was really good with the young players. That's what I've been told. Very, very great with the younger players and encouraging them and helping them in their journeys. And I think he was very popular in the dressing room. And especially on the pitch, he knew how to handle, how to organise a defence and how to speak to players and stuff like that. I remember it was very, very, because we were in lockdown and everything, there was no fans in the stadiums. You could very clearly hear him barking orders on the pitch and stuff like that. You could hear with your own ears how vocal he was with the whole team. So I think he was very popular amongst playing staff. And obviously, I think he knew a few of the players from his time with England as well. He played with Dele Alli and Harry Kane and Eric Dyer on international duty, so he knew them well. He was already friends with them, so he didn't have a problem settling in or anything like that. So it's no surprise that he's getting a good send off from his teammates on his way out.
It's encouraging to hear that he's been vocal, because our goalkeepers at the moment are anything but, and we could really do with a commanding voice at the back. Finish on a real positive then. Is he going to be a success at Celtic?
I think so. I think he'll be a success at Celtic, because I think he needs to rebuild that confidence, which I think being in the Scottish League, no disrespect, but being in the Scottish League, playing for a team who are going to dominate most of their games, and then hopefully he'll bring that mentality to your back line that will really shore it up. I don't know if it's not been shore up or not, but I think if you're looking for a guy who's going to come and command his box and be very vocal with his defence, I think you've got the perfect person in Joe Hart. And I think you've got European football. I'm right in Europa League, so I think he'll help you in that sense as well. And I think once he gets his confidence back, you might see a much better Joe Hart than you saw in maybe his last couple spells, especially at Burnley and Tottenham, where he wasn't really involved much. So I think giving him the confidence of the number one shirt, I think he'll be a success in the end. You'll be happy with him, I reckon.
Yeah, we're Europa League at the moment. We may well be joining you lads in the first year of the Conference League at some stage as well. So Joe Hart will maybe get a wee outing back at Spurs. But Sim, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for giving us insight, and all the best for the channel.
Thanks for having me on, man, and thanks a lot.